I am cooking up a storm again. Bread, I don't really know what else is going in there. I'm making hummus from scratch, pondering the delicate dance of real life romantic relationships and the way in which they cause some very, very interesting glitches in our matrices. Do you see what I did there? Not just one matrix, matrices. All of us get affected in this way. I had a really, really powerful conversation with a client who I have worked with for a long time, in fact. And we were talking about how it's so different to understand something in your brain about how connection is supposed to work. When you get really good at doing the work and pursuing what is in your heart and shifting and moving big needles in your business and in your purpose and in your creativity, what often falls under the radar is the way in which relationships are inviting you into a deeper level of ownership, of understanding how your soul matrix is meant to live and thrive in the world. And one of the most confusing things I'm realizing is not the idea of how it felt in the beginning, what you thought you knew you were walking into, or what you were opening up your heart to, or how much potential there was there, or how much alignment there was there at the beginning of the connection. If you are in a romantic partnership and something feels wonky or wobbly or like, what is suddenly going on? This was fantastic for a while. It was super duper great. We were on the same page. It was all kinds of delicious. It was fun. And now it feels like it might be crackling at the seams. What could possibly be going on here? Same two people, right? The answer is no, it is not the same two people. And this is what I was dropping into today. Realistically, if you have one person who decides wholeheartedly that they are not going to settle until they are able to touch, taste, breathe, swallow, move through, live in the most delicious version of their lives and the most expanded version, the most abundant version. They are going really, really, really going to go after all the things that their heart desires. If you have one partner who's all the way in and the other partner who doesn't have a problem, can't understand what the guano you're going on about, has no interest in finding out how to navigate their way into their heart and translate the truth of what they heal there into 3D reality. You have a problem. Houston, you have a problem. So, without becoming these people who expect this perfect creature to fall out of the sky, who's got all their ducks in a row and, talks, walks, breathes with all the magical wonder already, without becoming those people, how do you recognize? How do you recognize when there is enough present to keep persevering in the connection? How do you know when you are one, hoping for the best in vain, two, really being open and giving the person the benefit of the doubt, and three, leading yourself down a very painful tunnel? This is what I was talking to my client about today. And it's this little thing that I have noticed. I am speaking, obviously, as a Black female. I have seen this as a pattern in my brown friends, in people of color around the world, in everybody. But in these communities, I have noticed a very serious, weighty thing where we are taught to press down our observations, ignore our intuition in the beginning when we were like, something is wonky, something doesn't quite fit. We are taught instead to carry and carry and carry and carry and roll into our bodies and into our energy fields the overload of walking with, journeying with, upholding another soul who has no interest in transforming. Now, that may seem very, very, very benevolent and generous, but the problem with that story is you end up down the line with this little problem that my lovely, beautiful client is facing. Where now you have invested so much in the connection, so much, so much, so much. It feels like, how can I possibly leave now? How can I possibly choose what my soul and my heart knows it deserves? How can I choose that now? I've already invested so much. The sunken cost fallacy. And you know, as a coach, I never ever move into my sessions in this kind of judgmental, well, you should know better. You're worthy of more. Ma, 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 ma. What I always do is stop and really consider where that energy is showing up for me. Where in my life, if it's not in a romantic connection, it might be in my business. Entrepreneurs, you know all about this. Where in my life am I not wanting to offload what is not benefiting me because of the sunken cost fallacy? I've invested too much. It's too late. I have to just push through and bleed to death if I have to. I have to just keep pushing through at the expense of my sanity and everything else. When actually, that's a whole big lie. And every drop of agreement that comes from me, every time I agree that I am not worthy of the highest value, of the most beautiful connection, of whatever new thing is emerging for me in the form of a person, a partner, a business connection, an idea, whatever it is I'm latching onto because of the sunken cost fallacy. The reality is, I always have an opportunity to let it go. So my question of the day is there an area in your life where you feel like I've invested too much? It would be wrong of me to actually back out now. My question is not how much have you invested. My deeper question is, how much more blind investment can you throw into a black hole that is not serving you any longer? I'm going to leave that with you, and I'm going to carry on with my little baking situation here. Okay?